So we are in book 2. One of the sections of book 2 or question paper 2 is data handling. So you've got to know in the back of your mind, November and next year with all your big papers, question paper 1, question paper 2. Question paper 2 consists of 4 parts, which is data handling normally first. Analytical geometry, you've done. Trigonometry, you've done. Geometry, you've done. So this is the last section for grade 11 that's still in paper number 2, but it's an enormous amount of work. And if you think about it, the data handling is something that by a lot of practice you can actually boost your marks a lot. Because the nature of data handling is much easier level than, for instance, trigonometry. If you have to measure data handling to trigonometry, it's like, can't even be mentioned in the same level. So, working with data handling, the stuff that you've done already in your life, lots and lots of times, is that I give you a set of data and you order them if it's not ordered. Now guys, if you use your calculator, it's not really necessary to order it, except for one thing. When you are looking at the measures of central tendency and it is in an ordered way, then you can much easier see your mode. Because the mode is, you were taught in grade 8 and 9, the one that's there the most. Although that doesn't make any sense to you. I said to you that the mode, the best way of using the mode, or the place that you would actually use the mode the best, would be for somebody like maybe if you are selling cars, and you want to know, you want to manufacture cars, and what color should you make it? Everybody knows that white is the most popular for a reason. Because it repairs much easier, and it's more visible. It's just the most popular car, and that's why if I had to make 10 cars, I'd make 9 white ones and maybe a silver one, and maybe one for Mrs. van Schalkwyk in pink. Something like that, because you're not going to sell 10 pink cars, so you're going to sit with them. That's the reason why mode would be good for statisticians to go and work out the number of cars that you should be manufacturing. Alright, so the mode in this case would then be, for this data set, would have been 6. Right, so mode, measures of central tendency are mode, median, and range. Which one did I? And mean. Remember, the word for mean is actually your average, but you have to know that mean means average. How do you get the average? Everything together and divided by the number of stuff. That's very plain English. But in this case, for instance, the data set, which I don't really know what this is all about, and I can give you something in a test like this. I don't know what it represents. Does this represent the number of times you were bunking? Does this represent the number of kids that have how many cigarettes a day? Or what is the situation? So the sum will talk about the scenario and you've got to answer in that way. So for this specific one, if I had to go get the average or the mean, you'd actually go and add up 2, 4, 6, add them all together and divide it by, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, which gave me an average or a mean of 7. The mode we've done. The median. Now let's do all the quartiles that you've got to know from grade 10 already, but it's a recap. If you take quartiles, we do put median under the measures of central tendency, but the quartiles itself are measures of central dispersion. Now dispersion actually means spread. How the data has been spread out. Is it widely spread on the one side and less spread on the other side? Everybody's got the same marks here at the bottom. Between 30 and 40 there's like half of the class, and then it's more spread out to the top. There's one single one that's got a 80 and one that's got a 60 and 2 that's got a 50. Then that means it's wider spread. Not that there's more data there, but it's wider spread from each other. So if you have a look at this one, and we have to look at the mean of the median, you were taught that that is the, what's the median? The one in the middle. So basically what you're doing is you're cutting your data into half. Now if we've got 9 of them, then which one would be the middle? So you count it like this, 1, 2. You see it? Very mathematical. That would be your median. Now what happened, and you know this from last year, what happened if it wasn't 9 but there were 10? You add those two together. Take number 5 and number 6, whatever they were, add them together and divide it by 2. So it's the middle of the middle, basically. So there's my median, which we call quartile 2. Because then in grade 10 you also taught quartile 1 and quartile 3. All it means is you take whatever data set you have and you cut it into quarters. Quarters, quartiles. So you take your data set and you cut it into quarters. Now depending on the technique that you use, but you're all going to use my technique, we're going to say let's have a look at this. Let's ignore that for a minute and then see here, where's the middle of the middle there? Would be that 6 there. Do you agree? Yes. That would be my way of doing it. Some kids' way of doing it. The better way is keeping that one closed, and you'll see that if you do it on the calculator it concurs. Keep that one closed, and then where's your middle of the middle there? Of these 4, the middle is between 4 and 6, which would be 5. Now I'm going to show you the calculator quickly. And then on this side again, hold that closed, and then the answer is between 9 and 10, which would be 9,5. Now, guys, I am a promoter with no commission whatsoever for the new calculator that can actually do all of this on itself. Because you can put into mode, when you go into your calculator, you put mode and you put stat, into variables, you punch in all of your data, but then technical stuff. When you punch it in, you've got to say 2 equals, because your equal sign is your enter sign on your computer, your calculator. 2 equals, 4 equals, 6 equals, 6 equals 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And then you at number 10, waiting for you to give the 10th one, which you're not going to give because there's only 9. Then you clear your calculator, all clear. Then you go to shift, and then number 1 is the stat again. Then you go to variables again. And in those variables, there's something that looks like that. I think it's number 2 on the calculator. So when you press that, it gives you the mean, which is equal to 7. Now the newer calculators also has something that says minimum and maximum. The older ones also have minimum and maximum, but that is exactly what it gives you, the min and the max. What is the minimum and the maximum of this data spread? 2 and 11. So the minimum is 2, the maximum is 11. So we're getting right into the 5 number summary before we get to the box and whiskers. 5 numbers meaning the minimum and the maximum, and then your 3 quartiles. So if I've got to go to the quartiles, then I have to, on my calculator, just press minimum and maximum. If it's the newer one, it'll give me minimum and maximum and quartile 1, 2, 3. All 5 of those are there. Bonus marks, free marks, mahala. It's not impossible to do it. I showed you how to do it without the calculator. It's just easy. They're handing it to you. So they've given you those answers as well as 5, 7, and 9,5. But we call these quartiles your measures of
dispersion.
And what's the other word for dispersion?
Spread.
Dispersion or spread. So that actually makes sense if I have to go look at data handling. I'm always talking about math marks. But to look at 100 kids in our school and how their marks have been spread, that most of them are here by the 30, 40, 50s. Not a lot are right there at the top, and hopefully not a lot is right there at the 0 and 10% as well. The normal spread is that they're in between here by 40, 50 is the highest the density, thank you, for the data. That's a normal spread. We also talk about a normal spread as the bell curve. We're going to get to that a little bit later. Because sometimes we get this enormously clever group that are tending to be much higher achievers than the previous year. So the normal is now a little bit higher. Or the normal can go much worse because of COVID or whatever, because we like to blame COVID for everything these days. So going down a little bit because of whatever happened to the kids as a general. But in general, the mode and the median and the mean are on average basically bunched in the middle because of the nature of the stuff, like math marks or some sort of a tragedy that happened, it can be set off of the middle. And then we're going to be talking about the spread being skewed to the left and skewed to the right because of the nature of your data. Okay, but now this is easy peasy marks. You can just do it on your calculator. In one specific math question year for, I think it was prelims, they had this exact question, not the exact numbers, but they asked for the 5-number summary as well as the box and whiskers, and I think they gave 7 marks for that. That is like so easy. It's like giving something away for free. What does the box and whiskers look like then? Box and whiskers has to be on a number line, and it has to be according to scale, because you're going to see that you're going to have your blocks being bigger and smaller, saying something about being skewed to the left and right, or positively or negatively, telling you something about it. So if we have a look at this, I know that I'm starting at 2 and ending by 11. I could go a little bit further, or I can just stop there as well, it doesn't matter. Then our box and whiskers goes for the minimum at 2, there's a little line there, and the maximum at 11, little line there as well. Then we have our box being formed by 5 and 7 and 9,5. So there's my 5, a little bit longer, 7 a little bit longer, and 9,5 also there a little bit longer. So do you see that the right hand box is a little bit bigger? Alright, and then as well here we've got our little, please don't do it freehand like that, do it with your rulers. Then I would prefer you don't just leave it that way, because now we can say, can you really read the 5? And sometimes they'll give it to you like this, and then we say, oh, yes, you can read that it's 5. So don't go and say, I'm sure it's 4,9. Okay? Don't overthink this. But if you have to write it there, please write. The minimum is 2. Q1, 5. Q2, 7. Q3 is 9,5. And the maximum is 11. Then I know that you're going to get your full marks, whether it be 2 or 3 or how many marks for your box and whiskers. Alright. Now there's something that we can say about that, but I'll repeat it later again. For now, just quickly, and when I repeat it, you're going to remember, hopefully. But about skewness. When we look at this thing, these represent how much of the data lays over here, and how much of the data lays over here, and how much of the data lays here, and how much of the data lays here.
25%.
25%, because it is a quarter or a quarter. So does it make sense that we say 25%? Which you're not always going to write there, but I'd like to make an additional note there. And 25%, but this doesn't look the same, because it's about the spread. The same amount of data every quarter, namely 25%. Same amount of data, but this data is wider spread, less spread. But the same amount of data. And then for future reference, if the little block, because you always first look at the little block, if this one is a little bit longer than the other one, we'll say it is skewed to the left or right.
If it was a little bit longer.
This is larger, left or right. This is going to be skewed to the right. To the right. The other word for it is positively skewed, but we're going to get there again. I'm doing a lot in one. The range, can you still remember if the teacher asked you what is the range for this data? What is it? It's the biggest minus the smallest. Maximum minus the minimum, which would be? Please don't just say 9, that's correct. But please show what you've done. 11 minus 2, which gives you? 9, because that is normally 2 marks. What is the interquartile range? It's still range, but interquartile
Q3 minus Q1
is between the 2 quartiles. Inter-high athletics is between high schools. Inter-high schools. So interquartile is between the 2 quartiles. So which 2 quartiles?
3 and 1.
Between Q3 and Q1, which are 9,5 minus 5, and it gives me 4,5. Now that tells me something again about the spread. Is it widely spread or is it less spread? So if my range for my matric results at the end of the year vary from 80% to 30%, it's quite a large range. And that's the normal for results in mathematics. Are you with me? That's the range. Interquartile might be that the middle pieces are much more bunched together, usually they are. And then it might only be between 65 and 50, I hope, that would happen. And that tells me something about the results, that they're more bunched together, so everybody on average did the same achievement, higher or lower in a certain segment. Okay.